Hey guys, welcome to the status report highlight for the 30th of October 2015. In this week's status report, lead producer Brian Hicks will be covering a lot of ground, going through several topics such as the infected, the animation system, soft skills, status on version 059, as well as other tasks going on behind the scenes. And lead designer Peter Nespesny will be handing us some info on the work ahead regarding user actions. So, this is the first status report since the change in vocal style and frequency, and it just happens to come on the heels of our quarterly review and beta discussion at PAX Australia. Hicks appreciates everyone's patience as he deals with the jet lag that's catching up with him, but we have some cool stuff to talk about this week. Not as cool as the last status report, but cool enough. He'd like to kick off this week with the update on a few key areas of the engine he knows everyone is waiting to hear about. In regards to the renderer, Hicks touched a bit on this during the PAX Australia presentation, and the audio and slides for that will be put out as soon as he gets back to Prague. The post-processing is in progress, water and ocean surfaces are in progress, optimization and parallelization are in progress. Current status, actively under testing and internal QA. And for those of you who have never heard of what parallelization is, it's another optimization technique. The goal is to reduce the execution time. To this end, multiple processors or cores are used. We've made some great progress over the last few weeks. Hicks prefers to manage expectations, so I'm going to say don't get too excited. Issues could pop up in QA over the next few weeks, but morale in the office regarding the renderer is getting high. Hicks is excited, but keep in mind we don't want it to hit experimental until we're confident in a strong initial performance gain. New animation system. While we've made strong gains on this, that has enabled the design team to start working on a complete rewrite of all player actions currently in game, demonstrated in the last status report. We're still working on the last few areas that must be completed in order to fully merge the player over to the new player controller. Infected. As we mentioned in the last status report, Infected will be making a return in 059, but as covered in the PAX presentation, there are changes we'd like to look into making to the Infected, specifically in the area of spawning and distribution that should go miles towards a more rewarding and scary experience when it comes to crawling through cities looking for gear. 0.59 experimental. As of the time that Hicks boarded his flight to PAX Australia, the last remaining major blocks towards moving this build to the experimental branch was sitting specifically on vehicle position sync. It is critical we at the very least provide a more enjoyable experience with vehicles than on previous builds, especially considering the increased quantities. The gameplay programming team has been working hard on doing just this. Aside from the stuff mentioned above, we do have a few cool things to share with you guys. As those of you who watched the TwitchCon presentation, you know part of the character progression path we've been working on, in addition to soft skills, is the lifespan of the character, specifically shown at TwitchCon as beards for male characters. What we didn't share at the time was that we're a bit further along with this than just a few renders of male heads. We still know to work on the lifespan impact for female characters, but we do have growth over time functioning on internal builds, as seen in the video on screen now. Animations for shaving still need to be completed, but the functionality for choosing to remove said beard is there as well. In the same vein as character lifespan, Hicks spoke today about the initial skill set for the soft skills was functioning internally, albeit without UI elements allowing you to track said skills. In the video shown, we have accelerated the growth of the skill set that governs the amount of resources you gain from harvesting. In this grim case, it happens to be a human body. The more a character performs an action that falls under this skill set, the higher yield the resource he gains from the attempt. In the accelerated video, we have a character who very often skins and quarters bodies for meat, bone, and so on. As the character goes through each body, we accelerate the skill gain for the purpose of the video, but you see that each action attempt, the yield of meat is increased. We want to kick off the character's soft skills with base skills in the area of medical, resource gathering, and repairing. Once we see how those operate, we can expand upon them further. The little icing on the cake Hicks likes about the video is how Peter snuck a little treat in there that you can easily overlook. As the character skins and quarters the body, his hands and forearms are covered in a bloody mess. The character can wash this off should they go to a body of water, or have some on him. Alternatively, he or she could just easily choose to keep this appearance. And finally from Hicks this week, things are looking really good for 75 player servers. He's very excited to see how it plays out on experimental. Remember, if you have any questions or suggestions, make sure to head over to the official DayZ forums and join the status report discussion thread for this week. Now let's move on to lead designer Peter Nespesny. In the last status report there was a nice showcase of the new implementation of user actions which are currently work in progress. There was an idea back in the day, and I mean it was really long time ago, more than a year and a half, about simplifying of how user actions operate and streamlining controls in general. User actions as we know them are great, as they are very robust and allow usage of anything in any way you like, which leads for such a great Arma 2 mod as DayZ to happen. Imagine if there were only shooting and door opening. Such a situation would have you with a very limited possibility for application of your creativity as a designer. On the other hand, user actions are also known for their not so friendly behavior like scrolling menus, issues with precision, and our underlying implementation of actions on own character and others in SQF paired with old and limited animation systems led to many problematic situations. To mention some: no elegant way to cancel an action, spamming actions, or serious ones like duping. New user actions and controls are designed to be modern, user-friendly, and of course, to address all issues which we run into with the old system. Actions will be contextual. For example, performing the same eating action will feed yourself or your friend while you are looking at them. They can behave as single event or can be performed continuously. Think of flipping the switch by clicking the use button or drinking from the water bottle while holding it. You can perform them during other animations, so you will be able to eat while traversing the countryside. Cancelling continuous actions can be simply done by releasing the use button. All this and more means that the scrolling menu will become redundant in the end, as all possible situations are covered through different usage, based on context and duration of action. Every item can be used as a melee weapon, and with redesigned controls comes a fresh breeze to melee fights, as there is a difference between a one-click, which performs a quick attack, and a continuously charged heavy attack, which is performed by releasing the melee button. This allowed us to finally use firearms as melee weapons, bayonet stabs, buttstock hits, or pistol whips. Best of it all is that we removed so-called aggressive stance, which was mandatory to attack with melee or shoot from firearms, and it felt forced as it was too static. Now readying the firearm for shooting is a continuous action, so once you release the use button your firearm is lowered to the waist level. Prone position and bipod can make your life easier, as far as keeping your firearm ready. Also, we would like to examine weapons resting in the future. Items can be dropped, rolled, or thrown, which is especially useful for grenades. Peter is convinced that with the new user actions and controls coupled with the new animation system and physically based character, DayZ will become a fluid, modern, and pleasant experience. He is looking forward to this day, as with these changes, it will feel more like DayZ 2.0 than with any others. And finally, from the DayZ Trello, we have an image of the Saiga 12K shotgun, which lead artist Chris Torchia says screams zombie blaster. It comes in a variety of configurations. Ours has a skeletonized stock, which will be a new attachment for the AK series. We have also created the pictured drum mag, as well as a classic box mag for players to find. And that's all guys for this week's Status Report highlight. As always, all links are in the description below, as well as for DayZ TV for your latest DayZ news and information. And I'll see you peeps next time.